I'm Lynn and I'm here with Leo.
Hi, nice to see you again. We're doing class number 6 for complete beginners today.
Yes, and today we're going to go through different ways of coming into Ardha Chandrasana. So the way we're going to be practicing today is to go through a little bit of a fluid sequence.
Okay, so Ardha Chandrasana is half moon pose. It's quite a tricky pose. A lot of our students have difficulties coming into it, but we're going to show alternative ways of working as well. So if you find this pose a little bit challenging, then bear with it. We will give you another way to work.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so we're going to start our practice for Trikonasana. That's our first pose, so you need to be standing up.
Have a brick or a few books if you've got one, or a couple of yoga pads that will help for not Trikonasana but the next pose that we're doing. So Trikonasana is triangle pose.
So we're coming back to Trikonasana because we have actually practiced on several occasions in the previous videos. So you'll probably know this pose by now. Taking a breath in and jumping the legs up. So although we recognise the shape of the poses, they're always changing and deeper awareness comes through time. So turning your legs to your right, so turning your left foot in and your right leg out. So a couple of things to acknowledge when you're balancing or when you're coming for balance, and that is the outward rotation in the root of the thigh. So Leo is showing you here how important it is you've got to grip that outer hip in quite strongly. Coming to your Trikonasana. So when you're in your Trikonasana, you know that you're going to be travelling in this pose shortly. So you're going to need to have really strong, straight legs at this point. And to take this top arm down, so your left arm onto your hip or your sacral area. Now this is when it gets a little bit more demanding on the muscle fibre. So take your time with this. If it's very challenging, then take it quite slowly. Bend your front leg and taking your front arm, your right hand, to the outer side of the foot. So be in that position and just feel the action. Ground back into your back leg and lift through your body. Roll your shoulders back and down. You can see Leo's emphasizing the upper body there. Okay, here comes the tricky bit. You step the back leg in until the weight goes directly forward over that front leg. So it is like a little bit like the scales. You have to see that you even them out. So the more you extend forward, this leg will become light. Just come onto the very big toe joint and just be there. Now this action should be that you can keep this leg slightly bent and just lift this leg and put it down again. So you just lift up and put it down. So it's light. This is where you need to get to, a light back leg. And then if you can hold it. So lift it up and hold that leg right up in line with the hip, and then see if you can straighten the leg. So this is very challenging. Extending. So sometimes when you begin, you go out of the line of the hip, but you need to be working, put your leg down a little bit there. You need to be working so that you're in line with the hip, and then the top arm lifts up. So if you're able to get that action, keep strong in your center, draw your abdomen towards the spine, but also make sure that outer hip is nicely firm and pulled into the body. To come out of the pose, bend the leg. Now here's the challenging thing, don't just collapse. A big step back into Trikonasana. So we're familiar with this action. Trikonasana. So we're trying to get fluid with the action, making sure that actually when we come into these actions that we keep the integrity there. And taking a breath in and coming up and turning the feet to face forward. Okay, we're coming to the left side. So you might want to move yourself a little bit to your right side, just a little bit, so you stay more or less on the mat. Turning the feet to your left. And same actions, remember, you need to get this rotation, as Leo showed you here, the rotation of your front leg, And then extending over into Trikonasana. Good. So when you're here, again, make sure this outer hip is moving in nicely so that it opens the front groins, sharpen the legs, strong legs. Then place the top hand onto the sacral area or the hip and bend your front leg. Bend the front leg. That's it. Place your left hand to the outer side of your left foot, and then, yes, you need to reach. You reach the hand forward and you step that back leg in. And then again, see that you get that weight further over that front leg till this leg, back leg, becomes nice and light, and then start to take it up. So this is really quite an important starting point for those of you who have never practiced this pose before. Complete beginners, it's challenging, balancing, it's such a strong action. So keeping that leg, and you have to imagine you're pushing this top heel, your right heel strongly as if it was pushing to a wall. And then coming out of the pose, of course, if you can take the arm up, do so. And coming out of the pose for Trikonasana. So bending that front leg and a big, 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 big step back. Good. Coming for Trikonasana, stretching your palm up, lifting through the front body and taking a nice deep breath in and coming up, turning the feet to face forward and bring the legs together. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a few points or a few tips on how to help with this pose. One of the main things is that when you start to go into a balancing action, then the hamstrings are very tight, it's very difficult to straighten the legs. So wouldn't you say so? This is one of our biggest difficulties in this pose, and the fluid action of flowing into it through Trikonasana, through Ardha in a sense, gives you a little bit more agility to the final pose, but it doesn't always come easy to people.
No, it's one that we do find challenges a lot of the students in our class, partly because of tightness in the hamstrings, inner thighs, groins, partly because of maybe, balance. It's not something they've been doing for a while on one leg, so you have to get used to these things, but there are other ways to work.
Yes, certainly. So when you're coming into your fluid action from Trikonasana, bending your front leg, we're going to introduce the brick. Yeah. So the brick will bring the floor level a little bit closer to you so that the hamstrings haven't got so far to go. So we're going to demonstrate this. Leo's just going to go into the pose and just show you where to put the brick. It goes in place of the hand. So Trikonasana, stretching the top arm up. You can see here she's got the brick underneath the palm here, and then releasing the hand down, bending the front leg, and then see that you can reach that brick forward. Now if you feel that the brick's a little bit precarious on this side, you can always turn it onto the lower side, or if you've got some foam blocks, you can put some foam blocks there instead. So step in, remember what I said about the weight? Bring the foot in until it becomes very light and you get lift off. You can see here. This is grand. So just be here for a few moments or as long as you can hold it. And a nice big step back. Oh, yeah, good. You're going to do the arm. Sorry, the arm up as well. Better complete the pose. Sorry about that. And then coming out of the action. Okay, so if you're finding it really difficult to balance and straighten the leg, then the brick is the way to go. So Leo's going to do her left side just to even everything up. So each stage you can stay for a few moments, just be present in that moment and just feel what's happening to the body. Then stepping in, trying to create the fluidness within your body and then extending the top leg up. And as I said before, the stronger the legs, the more you reach through the legs, then the lighter the pose will become. And if you're able to straighten the arm up, extending the arm, the palm. And then a really nice descent now. So bending the front leg and reaching back, nice big action back. Coming to your Trikonasana and extend arm. This is a really nice way to practice 3 different actions of the legs. I just want to mention also now, there is another way of working, and that is to the wall. So Leo's going to show you this now. It's a really wonderful way to extend and to keep your balance, because having the wall will encourage you to open on a deeper level. It's not always a pop-out, although it will help you with stability and balance. Do you still going to use them?
Yeah, I'll still use the brick. Just something else to say is that when I started in yoga, I loved doing this pose, but balance was an issue. So I used to do this with my back to the kitchen cupboards, and you could lift your back leg up and just balance on the top of the work surface of the kitchen cupboards, and it's a really nice way to work. You've got a couple of minutes while the kettle's boiling, so why not use it?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's a starting point for all of us. So when your back's to the wall, you still go through the same actions of Trikonasana. I'm going to move out of Leo's way. She's going to knock into me. All right, Trikonasana. So you can be here for a little while. Use the wall to extend the spine, to laterally extend, to rotate in the hip, the front thigh, nice and open, strong, straight. And then placing that top hand onto the hip, bend your front leg, and step forward, bring in, and extend up. You can see
how much nicer it is now.
Yeah, so Leo can stay here, and what's really lovely about this action is that you can work this top hip, you can lift the top hip up, move the back ribs back, buoyancy that you pull up through the standing leg, and reaching into the heel. So as if you were pushing that heel into a wall as well. So the whole pose starts to evolve and open. It has a completely new energy to it. Okay, and release it. So I'm not saying that this is the classic way of working, but it's just a wonderful way to introduce it into your practice. So Leo's going to do the other side, and I'm just going to walk past the camera to the other side. Alright, so coming into Trikonasana, and once you've experienced this feeling of opening, you'll love working to the wall. Then come into the complete action, so taking the hand onto the hip, and then coming into your balance. And again, utilising the wall to teach your body to open and unfold. So keeping that opening, you can see through the abdomen, through the frontal hip. The great thing about the wall is it helps you to move that outer back hip in. You can stretch the arm up, back in the palm pressing into the wall. All of these actions, you can get that connection with the wall to improve and encourage the classic pose. Again, don't forget about this back heel. It's got to push back. The more you engage with those legs, the leg fibers will start to unfold and open. And then coming into your Trikonasana and coming up out of the action. Okay, bringing your feet together. And just stand in Tadasana, just get your breath back. I know on some of our videos, I must mention this, it doesn't relate to yoga, but you might hear some sirens outside the centre. We are actually on the hospital route, the ambulances. So you might, I have heard in some of the videos that this alarm's going on, so please, it's nothing to do with us, it's outside. So just take a few deeper, longer inhalations. Okay, so we're going to come for a resting action. We call it Viparita Karani. And we're going to use a blanket for this, and Leo's going to demonstrate it. So come down onto your mat, have a wall or some post pillar or kitchen units, whatever it might be, and bring your bottom close into your support.
So you need to get both sides of your bottom up the wall in order to get close. And then the elbow comes down onto the floor, and where your elbow was, the back of your shoulder blade comes. Okay, can you say this?
Yes, so what you're going to do now is to bend your knees and then place the support underneath your buttocks. Yeah, that's great. And just having that slight height underneath the pelvis will really help to rest your abdomen and just settle the nervous system, the breath. Just close your eyes and relax. So you just learn to relax in this pose. If you have a yoga belt, which I don't have on handy at the moment, but you can place it around the legs and this will take the weight of the legs a really nice way. If you're fatigued or very tired, this is the pose to practice. You stay here as long as you wish to. We're not going to because we're going to be ending our video. So just rolling out of the pose, or if you want to stay in it for a little bit longer, then do so. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Nice to see you back again. And join us next week for the next in the series.
Yes, and if you like our channel, please do subscribe or like the channel with the button below. Namaste.
Namaste.